Do you have a mentor that's helping you with the growth of your church, helping you with the growth of your ministry, and even helping you with the personal development of yourself as a pastor? In this video, I'm going to be covering why you should and also why they should not be a pastor. And I'm even going to leave a link below where you can book a call with my team if you need help implementing anything that I'm going to cover. But before we begin, as always, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notifications. That way you don't miss out on any future videos on church growth tips for pastors. Hey, what's going on? My name is Greene, founder of Impact with Pastors. Right now I'm in Santa Marta, Colombia, about to catch a flight to Cartagena here in a little bit. But I wanted to record this video for you guys because I think it's very, very, very important. And so here on this channel, if you're new, what I do is I use the knowledge that I've gained from building a six-figure business before the age of 30 to help pastors turn struggling in small churches into healthy, growing churches. And so I want to tell you a little bit about my story before I get into things. I remember when I first started this entrepreneurial journey, which was about, 2012. So maybe I'm coming up on almost 10 years ago. The way I got started was I started this Christian clothing line, sold out in the first week, sold out to all of my friends. And then after that, I was like, hey, I don't have anyone else to sell to. And so I got to figure out this marketing thing. And that's what led me to social media, right? And so from there, kind of went on this like 10-year journey of trying to grow a business with social media because I figured out that, I figured that was the way, that's what everybody was saying. And that's what I needed to do. So during this time, I was always looking for free options, right? Everyone always says like, hey, all that information is out there. You just have to find it. It's free. It's on YouTube. It's free. It's on Google, right? You have all these resources. So I would try to find every YouTube video I could watch on social media marketing, how to grow a business online. I was reading every single book that I could find on social media. I was listening to podcasts. I was basically listening to every single thing I could get my hands on in regards to social media, growing an online brand, growing an online presence, influencer marketing, basically anything that I could find on social media. What happened was I learned a lot, but I was never able to really figure out how to apply that information to grow a really successful business that was making a lot of money or something that was very, very sustainable. So in 2020, basically what happened was me and my wife had moved to downtown Orlando. The rent was $700 more than it was before. I had lost like all of my clients, all my businesses had essentially failed at this point. And my wife was just working at Dunkin' Donuts, and I was like, I have to really figure this out. And what I started doing was trying to find even more books, trying to find even more, courses and things like that. And really just like, hey, the information is free. It's out there. There's cheap information. I could find it. And I was just really struggling, and I couldn't figure out how to piece it together. It felt like I had a whole bunch of puzzle pieces, and I'm like, I know that these will make something, but I don't know exactly what they will make. And so I was just struggling to put that all together. What happened was one of my friends, who was actually a guest on a podcast, suggested I check out this guy called Dan Henry, said he had a book out. So I'm like, all right, I can afford a book. What is it? And it was like a free book. You just pay shipping. So I got that. And then the next page took me to actually like a challenge where he helps you put together like an offer as like an online coach. And that was only like $90 some. And for me, that was even a stretch. I'm like, investing $90, that's a lot. I don't know this guy, $100. I don't know if I want to invest that, but I did. And I tried it and it failed. I didn't make any money, right? And this is, I think, where people are like, I don't want to invest in online courses. I don't want to invest in mentors or a scam, blah, blah, blah. Right? But the stories isn't done, right? So during his whole challenge, he was like, if you ever get stuck, all you have to do is just call my team and we'll see how we can help you out. So I was like, hey, let me call his team. Maybe what they'll do is they'll just give me some advice, like free advice. I'm gonna get on the call. They're gonna give me free advice. They're gonna tell me what to do, tell me what I need to fix, and then I'll go ahead and fix it. Got on the call, and I watched a couple videos before I got on the call, so I knew that wasn't the case. I knew it wasn't gonna be something that was just like free, because he was like, hey, we have a program, we can help you. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I really need to invest at this point in a mentor because I don't know what to do. And if they can show me, then I'm really down for that. So I figured, hey, I could spend $1,000, $2,000. That'd be fine. And then especially if they allow me to break it up into payments, that's really going to work. So I got on the call. They started explaining to me I started explaining to them what I was struggling with and what I needed help with. And like, hey, we can definitely help you with that. And we got to the point where we was going to talk about price, and like, it's going to cost, $10,000 for them to help me. And I was just like, man, I don't have that money. And I got really almost depressed in that moment, because I'm like, I'm this close. I feel like I found the person that could help me, but it's so far out of reach because it's so much money. There's no way I could ever afford that. And then in that moment, I kind of had like two options, right? I can go down the old path, which is do nothing and get the same results, right? Or I could take a risk, which has a high likelihood of paying off, because it's worked for others. So if it's worked for so many other people, that means if I do the work, it'll probably work for me, unless I don't believe in myself. And I believe in myself. So I was like, all right, I'm going to take this risk. I took some money from PayPal credit, and I took some money from that we were going to pay for the rent for the next couple of days. And I just went for it. And I remember a lot of people said it was stupid. It was dumb. It doesn't really make sense. But I just kept pushing. And long story short, he helped me put together a program. At first it was going to be for entrepreneurs. Then as I started sharing tips, pastors reached out. They said they were interested. So I knew, hey, I can help churches with the creating social media content, because I knew how to do social media content. And so I was like, I can definitely help with that. So I put together a program for that. It was very difficult to get it started. I didn't know sales. I didn't know like a lot of these components for a new online business owner, but I kept pushing. I remember there was a day I really wanted to give up, because it was just tough. I was defeated. I really wanted to give up. I remember when my wife was just like, you can't give up, right? We have to keep pushing. I don't care if we can't pay a bill or the lights go off, like we'll figure it out. So it's like, all right, spend some time in prayer. And I think it was like that next day was when things literally just took off. I remember I was even going to cut my prices and do all this type of crazy stuff. And she was like, just have faith. So I was like, all right. And then from that next day, which was sometime in June, I think, June or July. So between June, July, and December, we ended up doing over $100,000 in sales, right? So I went from having all these failed businesses, maybe making a couple $100, $1,000, to being able to, do over $100,000 in sales. And fast forward, now I'm a digital nomad. I'm traveling the world. We pretty much live wherever we want. We have these amazing views. This was always my dream. I remember I used to watch YouTube videos, and I was like, how do people figure out how to travel full time, have no job, make enough money to travel? Like, I wish I could do that. But it just felt like so impossible. And it felt like it was so far out of reach. And I felt like, hey, there's so much free information out there that I can figure it out. I don't need to pay somebody. People always were talking down on that. Like, you don't need to pay someone. The information's out there. All you have to do is work hard. And that didn't work. But once I paid for the coaching with Dan Henry, I was able to do 6 figures, become a digital nomad. And now today, maybe a year and a half later, we've done over $200,000 on our way to $300,000. And it's just crazy. So I say all that to say, as a pastor, it's important for you to have a mentor, because if not, you're just going to be stuck, right? You have to be humble, and you have to look for help in the areas that you don't know what you're doing. And so you should already have a mentor as a pastor that's helping you in your spiritual walk. But a lot of the times what's wrong is that we look for these people that help us in our spiritual walk to be able to help us in other areas. And so we rely on those people for, hey, how do I grow my church? But the issue is they don't know how to grow a church, right? I was always relying on my mom and relying on my aunt and relying on my uncle on like, how do I grow my online business? And their advice is always like, oh, just work hard, believe in yourself. That's not a strategy. That's not a tactic, right? And it's not their fault, because they just didn't know how to do it. And so I had to go find somebody that actually knew what they were doing, right? And so, like I said, I invested $10,000 in that originally, and it's turned into, like I said, amazing views, almost $300,000 later. And probably since then I've invested $20,000. So I'm curious, let me know in the comments, what is the most that you've invested in mentors, in coaches, and your life? What's the most amount of money that you've invested in yourself, in your ministry, that you personally, not necessarily through your church, but you personally, how much money do you feel like you've invested in yourself? And this is outside of school, in mentors and coaches. Let me know in the comments. So like I was saying, as a pastor, it's it's extremely important that you have a mentor, right? And it just doesn't make sense to be looking at other pastors for growth if they haven't grown a church, and if they don't have a solid strategy that's going to help you grow yours. Because sometimes people can get a result, but if they don't know how to teach and train other people, they're not going to be able to help you get that result, right? And so if you don't want to just be burning your wheels and spinning your wheels and just staying stuck in the same place, you have to find somebody that knows about church growth, that knows about how to attract members, that knows about marketing, that knows about social media, that has a proven strategy. And those are the people that you want to connect yourself with. And so it's not just me. You have other people out there. You have Brady Shear is one. I just did an interview with him. And you have a couple other people out there as well. Obviously, you want to do your research, but those are the people that you want to connect with, because they're the people that are going to get you from A to Z, right? Imagine if you're stuck in a forest. Either you can try to, hey, just work hard and work your way out of there, or you can just find a guide, someone that already knows the forest, and they can help you get out of there as well. Now, you can't be cheap, and you can't always be looking for free information. And I'll give you an example why. If you're watching this video and you're stuck, and if you just answer my question before that, you haven't really invested that much money, look at the results, look at where you're at. And that's usually a good indicator of where you're at, right? And this, don't think of it as you're spending money on them. It's an investment. You're investing in yourself. So people love to invest in houses, they love to invest in stocks, they love to invest in all these other things, but when it comes to themselves, they want to be cheap. And yourself should be the most expensive thing that you invest in. You should be willing to invest in your knowledge, because that knowledge is going to last you forever. You should be willing to invest in skills. Those become assets. And so you can't be cheap, and you can't always be looking for something for free. Now, if you just absolutely have no money, you can't just give up, right? A lot of pastors that I talk to, they don't have money, but they're also not trying anything else. And so you have to do exactly what I did, and maybe you have to start with YouTube, right? So you're watching this YouTube channel and you're learning and you're expanding your mind. Maybe you have to listen to podcasts, blog posts, books, right? Start small, use that information to get you to the next level, but you can't give up. You have to use whatever amount of money that you have now to invest. Sometimes that's going to be smaller things, but you're not doing it because you want to be cheap. You're doing it because, hey, this is maybe all I can truly afford right now. And then you work your way up, right? So here's the thing, right? I know that it can be super scary, especially as a pastor, maybe someone that's a little bit older that didn't grow up with mentors, or not necessarily mentors, but online coaches, online programs. Because I'll be honest, I'm not going to pretend. I know that there's a lot of scammy people out there. There's a lot of people out there that don't have integrity, that will try to take your money, that will promise you results and not give them to you. And maybe those are the people that you've worked with before. You've tried to invest in yourself, tried to invest in your ministry. You paid someone to make a website or to do your social media. They just took your money, you didn't see the results. So now you're a little bit scared, right? And I can empathize with that. However, it's just like dating, right? You don't just, this person burned me or this person cheated on me, and now all people are bad, right? Because people wouldn't go to, that's why people don't go to church, honestly, right? Oh, this church burned me, or this pastor was awful, and so that's why I don't want to go to church, right? So you have to just do your research and find the people that are actually going to help you. And so if you look on my website, and I'll leave a link below, if you look on my website, you can look at all of our testimonials, right? Look at the different pastors I work with. There's a ton of interviews that I've done personally with pastors. There's interviews that pastors have recorded themselves, and there's a bunch of screenshots that we have as well that you can look at. I just like to be 100% transparent and let you see what other pastors are saying that we work with. We also have a private Facebook group where you can talk to the other members I've worked with. I know that there's a lot of spamming people out there, and my goal is to never be one of them, and to always offer you genuine help where we're actually building a relationship. And so if this message resonated with you and you're like, hey, you're right, I do need a mentor, I do need someone to take you to the next level. Again, it doesn't have to be me, but if you would like to see what that would look like for us to work together, there will be a link below, like I said in the beginning, for you to book a call. This is not a sales call. This is an introductory call where we can kind of get to know each other and talk about your goals, your vision, where you want to be in the future. And then if it seems like we would be a good fit to work together, we'll go to the next step. So it's just like dating. You're not, hey, what, you want to get married? No, like, don't worry about the price. Don't worry about all that stuff. All we got to do first is we got to get to know each other, start off the relationship, and then from there, we want to talk about your goals, get to know you, and everything like that. So that link is below. So hope this video helps, guys. If it did, do me a huge favor, give it a like, drop a comment on any videos you want me to watch in the future. Like I said, I'm here in Colombia, Santa Marta, about to catch a flight, but I really wanted to do this video because I think it's a game changer. Having a mentor completely changed my life. I never thought this lifestyle was possible, but God has bigger plans, right? And you just need a mentor. And if you think that you don't need a mentor, then I would challenge you, why do people need to go to church? Because you're basically their mentor. You can read the Bible for free. So why do we need you guys, right? It's because you know how to guide people to get the results they desire. So again, hope this video helps. Click that link if you want to talk to me or my team. Again, it's not a sales call, just an introductory call. Love you guys. Like this video. Talk to you guys soon.